Hey, good afternoon. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another segment of Razor's Rant here at noon Eastern Standard Time. I am looking forward to chatting with you about this next topic that I've got for you today. A lot of us have been trained by our education system and our upbringing through our parents to be employees, to be good employees. And there's nothing wrong with that. I had been an employee for like 14 years. But why is the transition necessary? Why is it important for us to start moving to other areas? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. But before we get into that, here's a quick intro on what this channel or this page is all about. I'll be right.
Real question is this: as a business, as an investor, as someone whose success lies in getting in front of the right people who will do business with us, how do we break through obscurity? How do we break through the noise? How do we showcase our message, our opportunities, and our offers in front of the right people? That is the question, and this show has the answer. My name is Raza Aziz. Welcome to The Bold Entrepreneur.
All right. And if you are here, so make sure you say hello. I've got an unshaved look today. I got to change that. All right. So let's talk about this. Most of us come out of school and we get trained from our education system to plug into the society as an employee. As a matter of fact, a lot of the MBAs, the Masters of Business Administration folks who are actually trained to go out there and run businesses, they end up becoming employed by some other companies to help them improve their processes and all of that stuff. So what is this whole idea? Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. It's a steady paycheck. The thing is that you want to understand the psychology of an employee and how it keeps you back. Yep. Most of the people are plugged in as employees. I myself, once I graduated, one of my biggest tasks was to look for a job. And I ended up at a company 30 days later after my graduation. And I had, 14 years I spent over there in that company in the human resource arena. So I want to share something with you to give you a new perspective. Maybe it'll shed some light on what are some of the moves that you may want to make. So what I want to do is I want to share my screen with you. So let's see if I can make that happen. Yeah, let's do that here. You should be seeing a car. Well, at least the front end of a car. That is a 1967 Chevy Impala. Yep, I would like it. All right, so let's talk about this. So the first thing that I want to talk about is an employee. I think you can see that on the screen here. So one of the books that had a huge impact on me and my psychology and my thinking, and the reason why I started thinking about leaving the entrepreneurial world is that, not entrepreneurial, the employee world, is because of this book titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The author, Robert Kiyosaki, talks about how his rich dad raised him and how his poor dad, who was his biological dad, raised him, and what kind of mindsets they gave him as a young child and as he went into adulthood. So Robert Kiyosaki, who's the author, wrote another book called The Cash Flow Quadrant, in which he introduces 4 quadrants there. One is employee, the other is self-employed, the third one is business owner, and the fourth one is investor. And I want to talk to you about, not only I want to highlight what these quadrants are, but I want to highlight my own journey in these quadrants and what it has done for me. And if you are somebody who is looking to transition out of the employee arena, or you simply want to tap into the other quadrants, let me know. Send me a private message and we can chat some more. So let's talk about that. And by the way, if you're here, say hello. Let me know where you are coming from. I love seeing and saying hello to folks. It's very generous and kind of you to spend a few minutes of your time with me. So I want to make sure that I give you 100% of my brain and my mind, my thoughts to you, in hopes that it betters you personally and or professionally. Okay, so let's talk about employee. So as an employee, I am committing to plugging in my time. I am selling my time in exchange for dollars, correct? So there's only so much time that we all have. And the reason that our incomes are capped as employees and we only get little 2% raise. I mean, this is what I used to get when I was in the corporate world. I would get about a 2% increase annually. I don't know if it has increased. Have you gotten more of an increase, in your salary and your wages or anything like that on an annual basis? Let me know. Okay. So, hey, Brett, how's it going? Good to have you here all the way from Calgary, Alberta. Woo! I may be coming down to Calgary in September, end of September. Stay tuned. Um, so, uh, so, so let me know if you have received raises of higher than 2%, because I'll let you know that over the past years, the inflation has been a lot higher than that. The house prices have increased a lot more than a 2% wages increase. So in a way, if you start really looking at it, that although some people think that there's a bit of a security in being an employee, and there somewhat is, it just does not let you keep up with the inflation and with the rising costs of groceries, of gas, of house pricing, and all of that stuff. And you're always getting left behind. So that's the employee. Now, what is the alternative? Well, this is a transition that I had made many, many, many moons ago, and that was to being a self-employed. Okay, so so once I left my corporate world as an employee, I was being paid a salary. Now all of a sudden, I moved into the self-employment world as a consultant. So my role after 14 years in the corporate world, I transitioned out and I became an independent consultant, where I had an opportunity to work with the local government here and help them implement a training plan for PSWs. What did PSW stand for? Personal support workers, I think. It was in the healthcare sector, and so I was working with the Ontario government, the provincial government, and doing that. Now, how is self-employment different than employee? Well, self-employment, part of it is the same as an employee, meaning you are still dedicating your time and effort in there, but your compensation is a little bit different. You're paid for your services that you are providing. Right? So you're paid for the services that you're providing and helping that client meet the end result. Okay, so you're still plugged in with your time. One of the other things is that you, as an employee, letting you know this, you are not entitled to any tax breaks. You are probably going to be paying the most amount of taxes that anyone can pay, which is the income tax, and it can range anywhere between 30 to 50%, right? Depending on your tax bracket and all of that stuff. So as a self-employed, you get some flexibility as far as your taxes are concerned, because you can write off some of your expenses, as part of that. But ultimately, it's think of it this way: you buy yourself a job. Self-employment is also, somebody who owns a, Subway, let's say, Subway restaurant. And that Subway restaurant, they are plugged in there, right? They're, instead of spending 8 hours a day at a corporate job, now they're spending 12 hours a day at their own business, they call it. But it's essentially self-employment because they have become an employee in their own business. So they are essentially self-employed. Okay. So a consultant is still self-employed because now, your results are still dependent on you, but you are being paid a little bit differently. When I moved to self-employment, I was paid by the contract, which means that I had to look after my own taxes and everything like that. But they paid me for the term of the contract. So if I was contracted for 18 months with this particular project, that's what I was paid for. Now, you can definitely move your earnings higher in self-employment. Add on top of that some of the tax breaks that you could get, and then ultimately you're making a little bit more money, but you're still time poor, right? So you're still time poor because you're still plugged in. Okay. I work with a client out in the United States right now. I spend about 4 or 5 hours a day, a few days a week, helping them increase their revenues. And when any of the revenues are increased or make more revenue, I help them bring in some sales. Well, I get paid commissions, right? So it allows me to be efficient with my time, meaning uh, I don't get paid if there is no revenue increase. I don't get paid if there is no sales that are made. So I could essentially put 5 hours time, let's just say 25 hours a week. And if there are no sales, and nobody's getting paid, I'm not getting paid, right? So that's the thing about self-employment as well. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, and but when the sales are made, the commissions can easily, help me make within a week what most people sometimes make in a month, right? So it allows me to be efficient with my time in the self-employment category. Okay, so hope that helped. Now let's talk about the next category, which is business owner. So now you are transitioning into another realm here, okay? Again, if this is resonating with you, if you have read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cash Flow Quadrant, let me know. This topic is from there, and I highly recommend it. If you have not read it, that I highly recommend that you check it out for yourself. So let's talk about business owners. Business owners are people who own a system. Okay. So they own a system and they have employees or people working for them. Okay. Do you notice the transition now? We went from being an employee in somebody else's business, right? Somebody else was a business owner and had people working for them. Well, you went from that to now owning your own business. Now, when I'm talking about owning your own business, I'm not necessarily talking about you owning a multi-million-dollar company or anything like that. You could be owning a system where people are working with you, for you, and the system allows you to separate yourself and have this entity working and operational by itself, and you continue to get paid. All of a sudden, if you've never really thought about this, you're probably thinking, what is this guy talking about? This is what business ownership is really all about. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that I owned a car wash station. Okay. So let's say I own 5 car wash stations. Now, I'm not the one washing cars over there at the 4 car wash stations, right? I hope that makes sense. I own these car washes and I have people in place at all of these car wash stations who are taking care of my business, and I pay them. I pay them from all of the revenues that is generated by these cars getting detailed and these cars getting washed. Okay. I am not doing the washing. I simply own that company. I own those four car washes. That's what it means to be a business owner. Okay. I run an online digital business right now. I spent a couple of hours overseeing it, checking my stats and my ads that are working. So I have a system that is working for me when I am not working. Making sense, right? So I spend the time to put an ad out there, right? Let's give you an example of an online business system. So spend the time and energy to setting up that ad, making my video and everything like that, and launching it. Then I'm working with some other client. I'm with my daughter, with my wife. I'm working in our, investing in real estate, all of that stuff. While I'm doing that, while I'm sleeping, the ad is running and generating leads and having them see my product, my offer, and all that stuff. What I have here is business ownership, where I have a business system working for me. Of course, I have an opportunity to do something else as well in this, and that is there are so many other people who are looking to, especially in this day and age right now, looking to start their own businesses, amplify their household incomes. I can actually, if they're a right fit and I'm a right fit for them, I could potentially put them in a similar business and help them run it. And as they become successful, I generate some of the commissions and some bonuses from their success, like their sales volumes, right? So I can help them start their own businesses as well, and you share with them a blueprint on how to be able to make it successful. I mean, over the past 9 months or so, my business has done, over $150,000 in total sales, right? So to be able to show somebody that, hey, this is how this is done by simply spending 2 hours a day to be able to do it, I can show them that, right? So that's what business ownership is really all about. So you earn your income through putting systems and people in place. Okay. So that's now you're having a little bit more time flexibility, whereas employee and self-employed, you were plugged in. Now, what is the ultimate area that we want to get into? Well, here is the final frontier. Becoming an investor. Becoming an investor means that you earn your income, your revenues, whatever you want to call it, your profits, through investing. So let me give you an example. So let's just say you own, two properties, two real estate properties, and they're rented out. Your expenses on it is, let's just say, with mortgage and taxes and all of that stuff, let's just say it's $22,000, just for numbers sake, $2,000. So both properties, the expenses are $2,000. You rented those properties out, and you are generating, let's say the rent is $2,500, and both properties are paying you $2,500 in rent. Well, the ultimate, after you take out all of the expenses, you're generating roughly about $1,000 per month from these properties. So what is happening is you put your money, your down payment and all of that stuff, and you got a mortgage on it. You're having your money work for you now. So you've sent your hard-earned money out to work, and it's gone out there and making you $1,000 per month while you are sleeping, while you're doing other things and everything like that, right? So ultimately, you want to take a portion of your money and start driving it, letting it go to work for you. And that's what ultimately you want to do, and become an investor and have your hard-earned money work for you. So, because if you continue to stay plugged in as an employee, and 95% of your income just goes into your expenses, and then you start over again, you'll never get to a point where you have time and financial flexibility. For you to transition into being a business owner, being an investor, that starts giving you a lot more flexibility as far as your time is concerned, as far as you getting some financial wiggle room as well, say for the rainy day, all of that stuff.